Welcome to Sightseeing Japan, the podcast where we explore the land of pirate ships. I'm Paul Bresson.
And I'm Jason Nealing, and welcome to the last episode of Season 7. You're supposed to, cheer or something, Paul.
Yeah, it's been a great season.
Yeah, it really has. So this means that we're going to be taking an 8-week break between seasons, but there is some exciting stuff happening in the interim as well. For one, we're going to be in Japan for a few of those weeks. I guess that's not maybe super exciting for anyone that's not us, but
we'll be in Japan when this podcast gets released.
Yeah, and we're going to be coming back with a bunch of stuff to talk about, so that should be exciting for listeners, I hope. We also have our podcast meetup coming up in Sapporo. That should be exciting for the handful of people that might show up to that.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're also going to be taking topic suggestions from our patrons, who will then vote on those suggestions to choose an episode topic for next season. This is something we've been doing for several seasons now, in between seasons. So the post where our patrons can submit suggestions will be open on February 9th, which is the day that this episode drops. And then the poll is going to start 4 weeks after that on March 9th. And then 4 weeks after that, the next season will start. So if you would like to participate in that process of choosing an episode topic, there is still time to join Patreon. We have a link in the show notes, or you can go to patreon.com/sightseeingjapanpodcast. And patrons get all sorts of other perks too, right, Paul?
Absolutely.
Got a bunch of bonus episodes, early access to all the new episodes. We got video recaps of our trips.
Yeah.
I can't wait to put together another video recap of our next trip.
I'm already looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. You can even get personalized help with your trip planning at the highest tier. And as of right now, when we're recording this, there is an available spot on that highest tier. And of course, most importantly, you help us keep doing the podcast, and we really appreciate that. Thank you, as always, to all of our patrons.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited for the quick turnaround. This is going to be the fastest we've gone between seasons.
Well, it's equal to the last season's turnaround.
Well, that still makes it the fastest.
That's true, I guess.
I mean, 8 weeks, right? That's only 3 episodes that would have been aired. That's pretty quick.
It is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we get to today's... Should we get to today's topic, Paul?
Yes.
All right. Talking about a town called Hakone. As I spoiled at the end of the last episode, it's a very popular getaway about 90 minutes southwest of Tokyo by train.
I didn't know this, but most of the town is actually within the borders of the Fuji Hakone-Izu National Park. I thought that was interesting, a town inside of a park.
That's true. So you're going to have a lot of natural scenery there.
It is a very volcanically active area, which is partly why it's known so much for its onsen and traditional ryokan inns that have onsen baths.
Yep. You can get great views of Mount Fuji, and there's this big lake there, Lake Ashi. Hakone is in Kanagawa Prefecture, by the way. The population of Hakone is only about 11,000 people.
And yet it draws 20 million visitors per year. That ratio blew my mind. That's insane.
It's funny. So I should say that I've been to Hakone. I visited there on our last trip after Paul left.
Mm-hmm.
And it is funny, how it feels like a small town in the sense that things are pretty spread out and there's not kind of a big downtown. There is no area that feels like a city, but at the same time, there are tons of people everywhere you go.
Yeah, just none of them live there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's an extremely popular destination, both domestically and internationally. And this episode is going to be about why that is. We're going to talk about all the cool stuff you can see and do there.
Yes, I remember last time you were showing me the Neon Genesis Evangelion tie-in stuff that they had there.
Yeah.
Because in that anime is centered in the city called Tokyo 3, which is built in that universe where Hakone is.
Is that why?
Yes.
How did you figure that out?
I found that researching this.
Oh.
And I don't think when I was watching that anime, I don't think I really knew what Hakone was even back then. But now that I think about it, some of those like fight scenes over the lake and things, like it really is Hakone.
Wow. Oh, man. I got to rewatch all of Evangelion.
Yeah,
now.
I haven't seen it in a while, too. So I was thinking it might be time for a rewatch on that one.
You want to set up like an anime night thing and just go through the whole thing?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. I found a little bit about the history of Hakone, Paul.
Yeah.
You want to start around 400,000 years ago?
I wasn't going to go quite that far, but please.
Okay. Around 400,000 years ago, there's a lot of volcanic activity here with repeated large-scale eruptions, and you can see the results of that volcanic activity even today. The most recent large-scale eruption was around 3,000 years ago. That formed Lake Ashi, also known as Ashinoko, which is one of the kind of main attractions in Hakone. Like if you visit Hakone, you're probably going to be at the edge of this lake. You might be crossing the lake.
We'll get into that.
Important lake, yep. Do you have anything about Hakone's very old shrine?
I do, but I had a little bit before that.
Okay, go ahead.
For at least the last 16,000 years, Hakone has been an important source of obsidian. Very important for making tools.
Dragon glass.
Yeah. So you mentioned Hakone Shrine, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Or Hakone Gongen.
Yes. That dates back at least to the Nara period, I believe.
I saw the year 757 is when it was supposed to have been founded.
Wow. That's an old one.
Yep. It was originally located on the sacred Mount Hakone, but these days it's right on the edge of that lake, Lake Ashi. And it was founded by a priest named Mongon, who pacified a 9-headed dragon that lives in the lake. I got a little bit more about that story later on when we focus on the shrine. But
okay.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I also saw that in the Heian period, Minamoto no Yoritomo apparently prayed at this shrine. He was a super famous samurai, often called the first shogun of Japan. I just read that biography of his younger brother.
Yeah, apparently he prayed at this shrine after losing a battle and then ended up winning the war. And it seemed like he made pilgrimages back to this shrine occasionally afterwards. And then it became popular with the samurai class because of that. He kind of started that tradition. It became a nice, like, warrior's shrine.
Cool. Speaking of war, during the Sengoku period, the Warring States period, this area was controlled by the Hojo clan, but Toyotomi Hideyoshi took them down in the late 1500s and burned down Sonji Temple, which has since been rebuilt. You can still visit it in Hakone.
After the start of the Edo period, Hakone became a station on the Tokaido Highway that connected Edo and Kyoto.
Edo is now Tokyo.
Yes.
Tokaido is the route that the people took along the coast to get between those two cities.
Mm-hmm.
And Hakone also had an official checkpoint, which I will also talk a little bit more about later. I visited that. It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it was interesting. That checkpoint was the border of the Kanto region at the time. Like, you are now entering Edo or the Edo region.
Mm-hmm. Hakone was established as an official town in 1889 during the Meiji period. And the Meiji Emperor even established a summer villa near Lake Ashi. It also became popular with foreign visitors around this time, looking to enjoy the onsen and escape Tokyo's summer heat. Hakone is up in the mountains, so it's a bit cooler than Tokyo. And this reminded me a lot of Nikko.
Yes. This part I didn't know. There's a long history of foreign tourism kind of driving the tourism industry in Hakone. And there's establishments that have catered to foreigners going back to the 1800s, which is pretty unusual in Japan. So I thought that a very interesting note.
It is interesting. You know, we're going to talk about Ryokan a little bit soon, but one thing I've noticed researching Ryokan around Hakone is that there are a lot of very old Ryokans with tons of history. These are traditional inns, by the way. And I've been wondering, like, reading a lot of the reviews, I get the sense that there are like ryokan that are focused on catering to international tourists, and then there are ryokan that are focused more on serving Japanese tourists.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the reviews kind of look down on the ones that cater to foreigners, it seems like. They're like, this isn't a real ryokan.
Sure.
They all speak English and stuff in addition to Japanese.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, so these days, did I already mention? I think I mentioned, Hakone is very popular, extremely popular even, as a tourist destination.
Yeah. I mentioned 20 million people per year.
Yes, you did, Paul. Very, very good.
Gold star for you, buddy.
Let me get the sticker. But there's also still volcanic activity in the area, which is cool. And there was actually a minor eruption in 2015, but it was just steam, apparently. No lava flowing around. Did you know that it's considered an eruption if it's still just steam? Like if it just releases pressure, I guess that's
it's not always spewing lava.
Yeah. But in 2015, that activity prompted them to erect several volcano shelters and an advanced observation system. I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, I've been hearing a lot about like earthquakes recently in Japan. You seen much about that?
Yeah, there's been seemingly a handful of big ones.
How do you feel about the possibility of being in an earthquake in Japan? I think it would be exciting.
I think it would also be exciting, but I guess it depends on how it ends.
Yeah.
You know, are we alive still? Great. Is transportation still intact and we can move on with our itinerary? Yes, awesome. But
as long as I'm not swallowed up by a crevasse, I'm okay.
I have had like daydreams where I'm like half drifting away into a nap where I'm like imagining we get this huge earthquake in Japan and we get stuck there and we're just okay. We're just like digging through rubble with everybody. Oh. And we live in Japan now, I guess, until the airport's running again.
I thought you were going to tell me you had exploding head syndrome.
What is that?
So a lot of people in the stage, like right between consciousness and sleep, they'll experience this loud boom. I thought you were going to say that, as if like an earthquake started while you were falling asleep or something, you know?
That's never happened to me. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people.
Then how do you sleep? You just, right when you're nodding off, you just wake up?
It's not, yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen every time somebody tries to fall asleep, but it's like, yeah, once in a while, it'll just be like you're drifting off and then there's just this super loud noise.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't get that, but I've gotten the one where like my leg shoots out. You ever get that?
I feel like, you know, I've been like startled back awake and maybe I do that or something. I don't know.
Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we're ready to talk about the stuff in Hakone, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take on a virtual tour of Hakone.
Yeah. So you've been to Hakone, you said.
Uh-huh.
This one took me a second to wrap my head around the transportation in the area.
Yeah.
Because it's so different and it's so mountainous in the terrain that it took me a while to really let it sink in. But now I think it kind of makes sense. But it's like there's a train for part of it. Then there's a cable car with multiple stops. And then you take a ferry across the lake. And then you're back to a train, I think, or a bus. It's kind of wild like that.
It definitely is. Yes. That was exactly my experience when I researched this when I was going there. It was like the transportation in this area is unlike anywhere else I've been in Japan. Like it's just more complicated in a way and like confusing and weird and like everything's more spread out and it's not walkable at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. But we do have some tips that'll make it much simpler than it looks at first.
Yep.
But let's start with Hakone-Yumoto. This is where you're going to start your trip in Hakone, most likely. It's a town known as the gateway to Hakone. And most people get to Hakone via Odawara. Odawara is a city by the coast that you kind of have to pass through. You'll take a train from there to Hakone. By the way, if you want to hear more about the city of Odawara and what there is to do there, you can check out episode 129. We talked about it in that episode about day trips from Tokyo.
Yes.
So just to kind of help you get your bearings of like the geography of this area, Hakone-Yumoto is on the east edge of Hakone. Things open up to the west. That's where that lake is and stuff. So we're basically starting on the east edge, and then we're going to do a loop through everything west of here.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But even just in Hakone-Yumoto, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, this is a hot spring town that dates back to the Nara period, so very ancient town. And there's numerous hot springs with super high quality water. There's public foot baths. There's shopping streets. Seems like kind of a relaxed, cool town to explore.
So the way I experienced this, it felt like all the touristy stuff is just on this one main street that goes through.
Okay.
Like you could branch off to the sides. And I did actually walk from here a little ways to get to the Ryokan that I was staying at. But like once you get away from this main shopping street area, there are no tourists around, basically, except maybe at the bus stops because they're staying at hotels or whatever near that area. But so yeah, just this main super busy street that goes right by the station there. And tons of souvenir shops and restaurants and street food. Lots of really good street food. That's where I got that abalone with uni on top and a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was there in the fall of 2024. It was very busy.
I just picture you walking off the main street and being like, I'm not like the other tourists. I'm exploring real Japan.
Every tourist hates all the other tourists. That's just a truth of Japan travel, right? Yeah, it's a cool street. I mean, it's very touristy, but those places are fun too, you know?
Yep.
So this is also a transportation hub for the area. Like I said, there's that major train station. There's also a bus platform. And those buses are important because, as I said, Hakone is not a walkable place. These buses really help you get around. So you probably have to rely on those. And you might also have to rely on a pirate ship. Paul mentioned at the beginning, I think.
Yes.
A little teaser. You got to keep listening to find out about the pirate ship. So let's take a second to focus in on Ryokan and Onsen. These are two very big reasons that a lot of people visit Hakone. As we mentioned, Hakone is known for these things. Ryokan are traditional style inns. Onsen are hot spring baths. And I want to point out that Hakone-Yumoto, that gateway to Hakone, is one area where you could stay for this part of the experience. Paul, you mentioned the onsen there. I mentioned the Ryokan. You could just stay there and get all that stuff. But it's not the only area. As a tourist town, Hakone has tons of hotels all over the place. Did you go on Google Maps and search for hotels in that area, Paul?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Everywhere. Like hundreds of them probably.
Yeah, there's more than a dozen different hot springs. So they're kind of all over the place with Ryokan and Onsen.
Yeah. So you could stay northwest of Hakone-Yumoto in the Gora area. You could stay at the north or south end of that Lake Ashi. It's really up to you. I'm not going to say that one area is better than the other. It really depends on what kind of experience you're looking for. But yeah, it can feel overwhelming just how many options there are for accommodations. So I want to assure you, don't obsess over it. I feel like you could drive yourself crazy with that many options. And I've been there. I researched so many ryokan,
Gotta find that right one,
Yeah.
But I think most of them are pretty nice.
I'm sure.
But you can also enjoy an onsen bath even if you're not staying. A lot of the ryokan let you come in and use the bath for a fee during the day, even if you're not a staying guest that night.
Yeah. Just to give you a little more detail, if you're not at all familiar with the concept of these things. So ryokan, traditional inns, your room is going to have tatami mats. You're going to sleep on a futon. They're going to serve a multi-course traditional kaiseki dinner and breakfast, probably. These are just super fancy, made with fresh local ingredients. And the hospitality at these places is extreme, as we talked about recently on our service culture episode.
Yes.
And most, if not all, ryokan, especially around here, are going to have an onsen. Onsen refers to hot spring baths. I mean, so the onsen, that word, it can refer to the hot spring itself, or it can refer to the hot spring baths. They source the water from the hot springs, and then you can sit in it, and it's great. A lot of these ryokan might even offer a private onsen in your room if you're willing to pay for it. That'll be a little more expensive. And if you want to hear all about onsen and how they work and how to go to a public one of those, check out episode 42. Did a whole episode about them. Last note about ryokan is that they can be quite expensive. I mean, a lot of these are like $400 a night, and that's maybe even at the low end.
You're getting top tier service and amazing food, and you're getting what you pay for. But yes, you are right on that note.
Yeah, I say it's worth it, even if it's just for a night. Like, it's just an experience that you can't get outside of Japan, really, and it's an experience you won't forget. And with those 2 fancy meals included, that helps make the price a little more bearable. And just the amenities at these places, like they're going to have masseuses and probably massage chairs and like a really nice bar, and they're just like the perfect places to relax. That's why I'm going back to Hakone at the end of our next trip, just as like an end cap on the trip to just relax and like really indulge. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's not many places that you willingly go back to so quickly.
Yeah. And since you're paying so much, and since they have such nice amenities, be prepared to like spend a lot of time at the ryokan. You don't want to be like checking in late at night and leaving early in the morning. To get the full experience, you got to actually spend time there. Make sure you have time to relax in the onsen and everything.
Yeah, but you're going to want to hang out there.
Yeah, let them pamper you.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. So from Hakone-Yumoto, you may be interested in taking the Tozan Railway because it's a sightseeing train.
Yes. And I think we talked about this one in our episode on sightseeing and overnight trains, which was 134, if you're
very
curious.
Nice. I didn't even write that down.
Paul's got the number. I looked it up this time.
Nice.
It's Japan's oldest mountain railway, dating back to 1923. And it's these small trains that wind up through the mountain valleys and ravines and cross a bunch of bridges just through this gorgeous views of the Hakone area.
Yeah, so this rail line, if you took a train from Odawara Station to Hakone-Yumoto, you've already been on this line.
But that's the normal part of the line.
Right, the sightseeing part starts after Hakone-Yumoto. Between there and Gora, that's where the really pretty stuff is.
But Gora, I think, is where you get on the ropeway,
right,
which takes you to the lake. So it kind of works out really well to go take this train as part of your travels.
Exactly. So this train is the first leg on your trip to get over to Lake Ashi, and you're just going to see some beautiful stuff. I saw that especially in June and July, it's great because that's when the hydrangeas are blooming.
Yeah, and they're just lining the path of the train.
And at night, they even illuminate those flowers, and they have special reserved seat trains so you can look at them.
That's so cool.
Yeah. All right, so we're taking the train west towards Gora.
First stop?
Well, a place I want to mention on the way is called Kowakien Yunessun. And this is a weird place. It's actually an unusual place that we talked about in episode, here it is, 44. That was the episode about unusual places.
Is this 2 episodes in a row now? We've referenced something we talked about in the unusual places episode.
Yeah. So Kowakien Yunessun is a water park. Do you remember what makes it so unusual, Paul?
Yeah, it's unique onsen, hot spring baths. They have a coffee bath, a wine bath, and a bunch of other odd things that you might not find anywhere else.
A ramen bath? They take the noodles out.
You ever feel like a noodle?
Yeah, you get to be the noodle.
Sit in it until you loosen up and you're all noodly.
Yeah, you get all wrinkly like the noodles. I'm interested in the little fishies that will eat the dead skin off your feet. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be disturbing and cool kind of at the same time, maybe.
They also have this massive onsen. I think it's like the largest outdoor onsen in the country and the world.
It's really big.
Yeah. So yeah, episode 44 if you want to hear more about it.
It's kind of a fun, wacky place.
Yeah. If you did want to visit this place, the train doesn't get you super close. the bus might be a better mode of transportation to get here specifically. And actually, I took the bus. I didn't take the train from Hakone-Yumoto because my Ryokan was like up the road a bit from there. So I just got on the bus, and I remember it stopping at this place on the way to the ropeway station.
Okay.
Yeah. Another very popular place. I mean, I don't even know. That water park sounds really cool to me, but it doesn't seem like an incredibly popular place from the research I've done. People seem to be more interested in this next thing, the Hakone Open Air Museum.
Yeah, I'd say I'm more interested in this.
But the wine bath, Paul.
Yeah, it's one of a kind, but I feel like I'd almost just rather do a normal onsen. I'd try the wine bath once, for sure, but...
I mean, I guess you could just bathe in wine at home if you really needed that experience, right?
Yeah. But the open air museum sounds very cool. Some of it's outside, and they seem to have a mission of trying to balance nature and art and kind of mold that together through some of their exhibits, since they are in this beautiful mountain valley.
This is actually Japan's first open air museum. It opened in 1969. There are around 120 sculptures outdoors around the park, some of which are even interactive, but they also have indoor exhibitions, including a Picasso pavilion hall with around 300 of his works.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
They also have sculptures and ceramics. I guess you said works, but I think paintings when I think Picasso, but he did a lot more than that.
He was a prolific guy. I feel like everybody's got a Picasso. Like every museum we go to in Japan is like, yeah, we got a Picasso.
You know, I didn't write down the quote, but when I dug a little bit into Picasso because I was interested when I was researching this, and he had some quote where he's like, my mom told me if I was a priest, I'd become Pope or whatever. And he said, but I decided to be an artist and I became Picasso.
All right. He did. He did become Picasso.
He did. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
There's also like this big sculpture tower called the Symphonic Sculpture that you can climb up into, and it's got a bunch of stained glass around it. That sounds like it'd be a pretty cool thing to experience.
I like interactive sculpture parks. Those are cool. We got some of those around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Paul, have we made it to Gora now?
Yes. Yes, we have.
All right. Well, at Gora Station, we can switch from the Hakone Tozan train line to the Hakone Tozan cable car. So this isn't, we're not at the ropeway yet. This is a cable car. It's still on the ground. It basically looks like a train, but this one is pulled along by cables.
Okay.
So it makes it a cable car. I looked into it because I was confused because it really looks like a train.
Okay.
So this cable car is going to take us to Sonzan Station, where we will switch from the Hakone Tozan cable car to, finally, the Hakone Tozan ropeway. This one goes up in the air. And this one's going to bring you to Owakudani Station.
Owakudani is an area around a crater that was created during a volcanic eruption. And even today, a lot of the area is still volcanically active. And you can get the sulfur fumes and hot springs and hot rivers all around the area.
Yep. As you approach on that ropeway, you're going to start to see and probably smell some sulfurous gases. And you're going to look down into this volcanic valley. It looks really cool. Owakudani actually means Great Boiling Valley. It's got active sulfur vents and those hot springs that Paul mentioned. So once you get to the top, you're going to get off at Owakudani Station, and there's a bunch of cool stuff up there. One, I remember like getting off and looking to my right, and whoa, there's Mount Fuji, like right there on the other side of the parking lot, right in your face. It was pretty big. As long as the weather is clear. I mean, I remember it being so close that it's like it'd be hard to not see it, but I guess you're also kind of up high, so maybe the clouds. Anyway.
Sure.
It was a clear day when I was there, fortunately. There are also souvenir shops and restaurants up there. There's a little museum about the geology of the area. They also sell these famous black eggs.
The black egg. I know you got one, right?
No.
You didn't? I thought you had a picture one. Was that the people you were with got one? Or
no.
Oh, I thought you
I have a
won.
picture of a black egg Hello Kitty
Oh, okay. Well, why didn't you get one?
because I was very full from my kaiseki breakfast.
Too full to eat a single egg that will prolong your life by 7 years?
I hear that inside the black shell, they're really just eggs. And I didn't feel like eating an egg. And I have my doubts about the claim that it will add 7 years to your life. And I did this. Remember,
I have some doubts. Yeah, me too.
remember, this is what I did get was that black charcoal ice cream.
Okay, that actually sounds better.
Yeah, it was. It was delicious.
Imagine eating an egg on a full stomach and just getting the egg burps all day.
Right. It just wasn't appealing at that moment in time.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, fair enough. Well, you're going back, so you'll
Yeah.
have another chance.
I might. I'm not even sure I'm going to do the loop, though.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
have such little
What are you going to
time.
do? You're just going to chill in your awesome Ryokan
I don't know.
and get
Right.
pampered?
Right now, my plan is definitely get pampered. Make sure to experience the onsen as many times as possible. I was thinking about just maybe taking a bus down to get a view of Mount Fuji and try to take some pictures. Because remember, I still don't have a picture with the snow cap.
Ah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll see. Yeah, why are these eggs black? Do we even say?
Oh, because they cook them in the sulfurous water, and apparently the sulfur turns the shell black.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds like it would maybe, if anything, take years off your life rather than add them on, but I'm no health expert.
You know what I learned at some point in the last couple years?
What?
You know when they talk about fire and brimstone?
Yeah?
You know what brimstone is?
I have no clue what brimstone is.
It's sulfur.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. Thank
Yep.
you, Jason.
You're welcome. At Owakudani, there's also a 30-minute walking trail into the volcanic zone if you wanted to get closer to those smelly vents. But you have to make reservations in advance to do that.
I saw that. I thought, like, for a walking trail? I guess they get so many people or something. I don't
kind
know.
of remember seeing this, and it looked like it's just like this pretty narrow path that's kind of windy, and like, I don't know, it like winds through all these vents and hot springs and stuff. And I could see, like, if you just let everybody up there, it would just get really congested. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah. That could be.
But another option, you could, if you want to hike a bit, there's a 2-hour trail up to the peak of Mount Kamiyama and then over to Mount Komagatake if you're feeling adventurous, but that can sometimes be closed depending on the level of volcanic activity as well.
Fair enough.
Personally, Paul, I go to Hakone to relax. I don't need to hike.
Okay.
So I'm going to get on a pirate ship
Let's do that.
because everybody knows pirates are relaxing and
So you
fancy.
have to get
That wasn't a
back-
good segue. I don't know what I was talking about.
So now you have to get back on the ropeway to get down to Lake Ashinoko. Is that correct?
Yes, so you've taken the ropeway up to the top of the mountain from the east side, and then you're getting back on it to go down the west side. And on that ropeway, you're going to get some great views of Mount Fuji again. And then it takes you right down to the edge of the lake.
It seems so cool to me to have a ropeway that long. Like usually they go up a mountain and then back down the same side, but to go up and now it's going all the way down. There's like multiple stops like that. This is really cool.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. But yeah, there are several. I don't remember exactly how many stops there were on the ropeway. But yeah, it is kind of unusual to see one that like goes over a mountain.
Just part of that unique transportation of the Hakone area.
Yeah. So the ropeway will take us to what's called Togendai Station on the that's the one on the edge of Lake Ashi. And that's where we're going to get off the ropeway and get on that pirate ship. There are 3 pirate ships that do sightseeing cruises across Lake Ashi.
Yeah,
about-
so they usually get on here and it drops you off on the other side of the lake, right?
Correct. The ride is about 25 minutes to get to the other end of the lake. It's kind of a long, skinny lake.
Yeah.
So you're like starting at one end and then going all the way along the skinny way to get down to the other end of the lake. And as you cross, they're going to be telling you stuff about what you're seeing out the window. So I would highly recommend, if possible, get a seat by the window. I didn't manage to do that. It was extremely busy. I mean, like I said, Hakone is just packed with people.
Yeah.
The line to get on this ship was crazy. And by the time I even got to pick a seat, all the window seats were taken.
Sure.
I ended up on a bench with some random people. So I don't know. I didn't have the best experience on this pirate ship that you can have on the pirate ship. I'll
Okay.
just say that.
Let's talk about the pirate ship for a second, though, because it actually looks really cool.
They do look very cool.
They really have it dressed up. Like, if you look really hard, you could kind of see that it's like a normal ferry that they've put all this stuff on, but it's not hard to let your imagination run, and it looks like a pirate ship. All you One Piece fans out there want to ride a pirate ship? Come to Hakone.
I could imagine Captain Hook standing there on the gangplank. I don't know what the gangplank is.
The gangplank? Is that it?
I don't know. I'm just trying to throw out some nautical terms. I can never keep track of what the heck all these things are. You know, what book was it I read? There was some book I read recently that takes place on a ship, and they're all talking about these different parts of the ship. I'm like, I have no idea what the heck you're talking about. I don't know what part of the ship this is.
Go to the poop deck. Like, well, what the heck is that?
I remember like Googling a bunch of these things, and I still don't have any idea.
I know a couple things just because I'm such a Star Trek nerd. You know, like aft, you know.
I know where the bridge is.
This, you know, like there's a few words like that
I know starboard is right.
Translate from
Port
spaceships
is left.
to normal ships.
Yeah.
But Lake Ashi's known for the view of Mount Fuji, right? So did you get to see it really from the ship? Was it faced the right way?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really see much of anything from the ship.
Because you were too far in?
I looked out the window. I saw some water. Saw some trees at the edge of the lake. That's pretty much all I saw.
Okay, but you were a pirate for 30 minutes.
Yeah. With like 2,000 other pirates.
All right, fair enough.
But, okay, here's what I'm going to recommend. There is a special luxury room that you can pay extra to get into on the ships, and I don't think is that much more expensive. That's probably a better experience.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay, so we got on the ship at Togendai Station. Now we're going to take it over to Hakone Machiko on the other end of the lake. You could also, at the other end of the lake, there are actually two stops. First, it stops at Hakone Machiko, and then it stops at Moto Hakone-ko, which is just like a little bit further north. It's really not far, but
it's walkable between the two spots.
Yeah. And I got off at the first stop and walked because there is a bunch of stuff to see in between them anyway.
Yeah, I would recommend that.
Yeah. So one of these things that you get to see is the Hakone Checkpoint.
Dude, this looks so cool.
It was cool.
Like we mentioned in the history that Hakone was a checkpoint on the Tokaido Road between Edo and Kyoto. And they've got a bunch of, I think, recreated buildings here. It really looks like this is what the checkpoint looked like if you were walking on this path back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a little museum. They've got just a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was super cool, but I really think this is one of the places that's going to be more interesting if you, try to look a bit into the history of it. Because, like, if you just walk up and look at it, it's like, oh, there's some buildings, it's some historical thing. But, like, what I think is fascinating is the story behind why this checkpoint exists. And I wanted to give a little bit of background on that.
Okay, yeah.
So, back in the Edo period, we're talking like 16 to 1800s, Japan was really locked down by the Tokugawa shogunate. We've talked about them so many times on the podcast. They united the country after, this very long warring states period. And to hold on to their power, once they united the country, they just locked everything down. Like, people were not free to travel wherever they wanted without permission. So if people were traveling between the Kanto and Kansai areas, that's the area where Tokyo is now, and then the area where Kyoto and Osaka are now, they would have to pass through this checkpoint right here. And that helped them hold on to power because they would check anyone passing through to make sure they had the appropriate documentation, check them for weapons, maybe most importantly, see if they were smuggling people. What they're really looking for is women fleeing Edo. Edo is now Tokyo. And this is because the Tokugawas would basically hold the wives of regional lords hostage. They would take them to Edo and just look after them. They'd be guests, but really it's more like we're telling all these regional lords, you can't mess with us because we got your family.
Yeah, right. Because all these powerful daimyo are off in their lands. They could raise an army. They could cause all sort of mischief. But it's like, no, your wife and son are here. You know.
And they also had the system where these regional lords would have to come to Edo
every other year.
Yeah, they had to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's why this historic checkpoint is really cool. And like, it's not huge, but inside that little museum thing, they have some stories, like real stories about the types of things that happened there. And they have like historical artifacts. And I just thought it was super cool.
There's a section of the Tokaido you can walk here too. And some of it even has some of the original pavement stones.
Huh. I wonder if I walked on those and didn't realize what it was.
Maybe.
Like right at the checkpoint? Like,
yeah. Right around that area.
I feel like I do remember some walking paths like along this edge of the lake through the woods.
Yeah, that could be part of it. I'm not sure. I saw it goes like a lot further too, but it becomes like less nice as you get out of the area.
Yeah. I mean, the entire Tokaido, most of it is like highways now, but there are little pieces of it left that you could hike along.
Yeah.
Now that we've done so much of the Nakasendo, maybe we
got to do some of the Tokaido.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
So as you walk further north along the edge of the lake from the checkpoint, you're going to come across a place that is labeled on Google Maps as Best View of Fuji. And I got to say, it is definitely the best view of Fuji I've ever seen in person. Should I describe it?
Yes, please.
All right, so imagine this. You're standing on one edge of the lake, looking out across it, and in the distance, you see Mount Fuji, framed by foothills. On the right side, you can see the floating torii gate of Hakone Shrine. There might be some little swan boats floating around in the lake too. And if you're really lucky, or if you just stand there and wait long enough, you're going to see one of those pirate ships coming from off the left side is going to drift into frame. And the pictures you can get here with the mountain and the lake and the torii gate and the pirate ship, oh,
I'm imagining it. That sounds unbelievable.
I've showed you the pictures. Those are some of the, I mean, I've taken a lot of pictures in Japan. Those are some of the ones that I'm most proud of.
Okay. That's high praise.
The only thing that's missing is that snow cap on Mount Fuji.
Sure. Okay.
It's iconic, and it just doesn't feel like Mount Fuji without it.
You should be able to get it this year if the weather's clear.
Well, now it's not going to be a snow cap. It's just going to be a snow suit. It's just going to be covered in snow, I feel like.
The whole thing, you think?
I don't know. It's going to be more than the cap that you're used to seeing in pictures, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I did see that visibility tends to be better during the colder season. So you might have a better shot here going in February.
Okay.
And early morning and late afternoon, also prime time to avoid cloud coverage.
Okay. I was thinking, well, let's see.
Why
Did
not
you say
both?
Early morning or late afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was considering I can either get there in the afternoon, like right before I get to my Ryokan, or I could do it in the morning when I check out. But that wouldn't be super early because I got to eat my breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
You get up super early, go check it out, then come back and eat your breakfast.
Maybe. It takes forever to get around with those buses, to be honest.
True.
I wouldn't want to miss
That'd
breakfast.
That'd be tough.
Since we're talking about Mount Fuji, though, I also want to mention that there are a bunch of hotels in Hakone that boast views of Mount Fuji from your hotel room. I remember one of our listeners even sent me some pictures from their hotel, and it looked awesome. And
yeah, that sounds nice.
I really struggled trying to decide between booking this Ryokan or that exact same hotel. And the reason I finally decided not to stay at that hotel was because that's like the main thing that they offer is like the views of Mount Fuji from your room. And I didn't plan
Otherwise,
to spend
it's just a normal hotel.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time in the room. Like, it would be pretty amazing to wake up, look out the window, and there's Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
You know?
It's probably twice as expensive as a normal hotel, too.
I think it was still cheaper than the Ryokan, but I want that Ryokan experience.
Yep,
But yeah, anyway, if that view of Mount Fuji from your hotel is important to you, there are a bunch of options for that.
But it's like just go like anywhere in Hakone and you probably can see Mount Fuji or, not too far.
Yeah, I mean, seeing it from your hotel
it's cool.
Probably still not going to be quite as spectacular as like
going down to the lake.
If you just did the loop,
yeah,
you would see it, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so you've taken your pictures, your hundreds and hundreds of pictures.
Yep, and your videos.
Yep. And maybe now you want to keep walking. Like I said, there is a bus stop right around this area, and you could take that to get back to wherever you're staying if you're done for the day. Or you could continue on around the lake and walk to Hakone Shrine. I actually didn't get close to Hakone Shrine. I took the bus back to where I was staying, but the shrine looks pretty cool. And this is where I have a little more detail about that 9-headed dragon.
Okay.
Did I say yet that this shrine used to be on top of Mount Hakone? I think I said that, right?
Yeah, I think you
Sacred
did.
Mountain, which is north of its current position. And there's that priest Mongon who pacified a 9-headed dragon. That's who the shrine is dedicated to. So there was apparently this dragon. In Japan, a lot of dragons seem to be water dragons. I don't know if all of them are, but we've told like we've read a bunch of folk tales about water dragons, remember?
Yeah.
So this dragon was apparently terrorizing the area around the lake and eating people. But Mongon managed to chain it to these huge rocks at the bottom of the lake. So now people worship at the shrine to keep the dragon placated down at the bottom of the lake. It's still there, apparently.
Oh, okay. Big enough earthquake, maybe it'll shake him free.
Did you watch all of Dandadan?
Yeah.
This reminded me of the worm thing.
The creature, yeah. This shrine seems like a nice little, like, melding with nature thing. Because it's got the torii gate over the water. There's apparently another torii gate on land. But then the path to the main shrine building kind of leads up into the woods on the mountain. And then there's the second shrine, which is the original shrine, still at the peak, that I think you can hike all the way up to if you want, but is quite a hike.
Nice.
So that seems like a really peaceful, kind of beautiful place to go explore too.
Yeah, I was a little bummed I didn't have time to get over to that shrine because it did look really cool. But I was already like...
It seems like doing this loop would take like all day because you're 5 different modes of transportation. You're stopping in 6 different spots. Like, it's a lot.
It really does take a good chunk of the day.
Especially if you have to wait an hour to get on the pirate ship.
Right. Well, yeah, all the people will slow you down. And then it's just everything's so spread out. Like, I feel like the bus to get back from that place where you can see the great view of Mount Fuji, that bus was like 40 minutes long.
Wow.
To get back to my Ryokan.
Yeah.
And I think I was late for my Onsen appointment. I felt really bad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but they still let me in there for the rest of my time.
Nice.
Yeah.
They know how the buses are.
Oh, man. Yeah. I felt bad, though, because, like, you know, in Japan, just punctuality is so important.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
You
I'm
committed
the
to
foreigner
that
guy.
time.
I'm the guy,
Then you show
tourist
up, you're
guy.
like, "Too late American."
Yeah.
Well, that was the last stop on the tour, I think, right, Jason?
Yeah, that's the loop. You could do it the other direction, by the way, if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those ships go both directions across the lake, and the ropeway goes both directions, and the train goes both directions.
Just depends if you're trying to get that early morning or the late afternoon picture. We got some tips for getting to and around Hakone, Jason?
Definitely. So as I said earlier, the easiest way to access Hakone from Tokyo is by taking a train down to Odawara Station and then switching to the Hakone Tozan Railway to get to Hakone-Yumoto Station. That was that gateway to Hakone area. And from there, you continue on the train or take buses, and then the cable car, ropeway, pirate ship.
Yeah, and it's only like 15 minutes from Odawara to Hakone-Yumoto.
Yeah.
So you're really close.
Yep. And, you know, all this travel with all these different modes of transportation can seem intimidating. I definitely felt intimidated trying to get around Hakone at first, but something that can make it a lot easier is the Hakone Free Pass.
Yes. So this provides unlimited transport on all the Odaku-affiliated transport modes. Like that was the train, the ropeway, even the pirate ship counts in this. So that's really cool and convenient, right?
Definitely. You can get a 2-day pass or a 3-day pass, and the price is going to depend on where you get it, because you can actually even get it at Shinjuku Station in Tokyo, and if you get it there, it covers your whole train ride from Tokyo to Hakone and then all your transportation within Hakone.
Yeah. It also gives you discounts at a ton of the tourist places that you go around to. You might save a couple $100 here and there buying all your tickets.
Definitely, yep. So I picked mine up in Odawara because I wasn't leaving from Shinjuku Station. So it was a little cheaper than it would have been if I had gotten it at Shinjuku. But I say it's worth it wherever you get it, if only just for the convenience. Like just knowing that you're going to be able to get on any bus and you don't have to worry about fishing around for coins or whatever.
Yeah.
We should also mention the romance car if you want a more premium experience. Did you look into that much, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's like limited express train that I think goes straight from Tokyo all the way to Hakone.
Yeah, Shinjuku to Hakone. It's a reserved seat train, and it's got reclining seats. It's a bit faster than normal trains, like you said, limited express. And the reason it's called the romance car is because the seats are in groups of 2 without armrests in between. So
Okay.
it's easy to hook an arm around your seatmate, pull him in for a smooch, which I do not recommend if you're sitting next to a stranger. But, if you're traveling as a couple,
No
pretty great.
PDA in Japan, Jason. That's a rule, right?
I think you can put an arm around them.
Yeah, that's as far as you can go.
If you want to be safe,
No
just
pulling anybody close.
just hold hands like down low so nobody can see it. you know?
yeah, there you go.
And then you got to blush and look away like in an anime or something, right?
Right. So there's another way to get there. It's not the most economical, but
Sorry, Paul. I just want to point out that this romance car is very popular, and if you want to do that, you should book it in advance.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I was going to say you can take the Shinkansen down to Odawara, and it's only about 30 minutes from Tokyo.
Nice.
So if you want to spring the big bucks for that ticket, you can get to Hakone in probably less than an hour.
Sure. Well, Paul, you want to do that section of the podcast where we talk about random things?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you about a spicy romance fantasy novel I've been reading.
Morning Glory Milking Farm.
What?
What?
Is that a thing?
That's the thing, yeah.
That's
I have not
that's what
read
you've been
it.
reading?
It's become the new meta to make fun of it on Instagram or whatever I saw, or YouTube.
Are people making fun of it?
It's a real thing because it's ridiculous.
Did I say romance fantasy? I think it's fantasy romance. It's fantasy first.
Okay.
But there's also some you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Why don't you describe that for us?
No, I'm kidding. That's not what I'm going to talk about. We don't need to go into that. It's not even Japan related.
I want to talk about Japan. We're going to Japan. I'm so excited. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm super excited for literally everything that we're planning to do, but my mind keeps drifting towards that drift ice and the icebreaker. I really hope that we find the good drift ice. It depends. It seems like a little bit of chance on how the weather goes this year, but dude, I think that's going to be magical.
Nobody knows what you're talking about. So up in Abashiri in Hokkaido, this was like a prison colony. It's really cold up there. They sent people there to build their own prison because it's miserable up there and they wanted them to suffer. But in the sea there, it gets so cold that the salt water actually freezes into these giant chunks. And we're planning to take a ship that can break through this ice and take us on a little tour. It should be really fun. I really hope. That's going to be the stressful part of the trip, though, because it was hard to get tickets for that, and we're going to have to try really hard to get there from the airport to meet our appointment time.
From the train station, but yes.
Oh, right. We're taking the train in and taking the plane out.
Yep.
Yes.
I think we'll make it, though. There's also that sightseeing train that you found that goes up the coast.
Did
to
you
where
look into that at all?
Where the drift ice normally is. Not a ton, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
I hope we get to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want to hear about an anime or something?
Yeah, I think last time you said there were 3 or 4 animes you had listed that you've been watching or something.
Yeah, let me talk about the one that I'm most excited about. I'm kind of in the middle of 4. Well, no, we finished one of these. 3. I'm in the middle of 3 anime.
Okay.
And one of them is called The Summer Hikaru Died.
Okay.
You heard of it?
I've heard the name. That's
Okay.
all.
Well, it's about a boy whose friend Hikaru dies. I don't think that's a spoiler because it's in the name of the show. But then Hikaru comes back and Like, it seems like everybody's just like, oh, he disappeared for a week in the woods and then came back. That's weird, I guess. But the main character, who is like Hikaru's best friend, he realizes like, this seems like Hikaru, but I don't think this is Hikaru. And essentially finds out that his friend that came back is not actually his friend, and there's something inside him kind of using his body. And like, I feel like, just thinking about anime tropes and stuff, this could go a couple ways, right? It could be like they make it kind of a zany sci-fi adventure thing, right? But the direction this show goes is like really unsettling psychological horror, which is what I love about it.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff.
You're selling me, because I think part of why I never looked at this one is with that name. I don't love like the super tear jerky, try to make you cry stuff. And I kind of thought with that name, maybe that's like what this was going to be.
Yeah, I get it.
But like psychological horror, yes.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's truly unsettling. There's just this constant tension, and you're wondering, like, is this thing that's posing as Hikaru kind of a benign alien sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or is it like the
evil?
thing that's going to kill everyone in this whole town?
Yeah.
And it also gets really weird because there's kind of like this homoerotic stuff that starts to show up a little bit. I'm not super far into the show. I don't know where it's going. And the homoerotic stuff is like, I don't know, unexpected, but also kind of an interesting twist. I don't know, there's just so many feelings going on. If you put yourself in the mind of the main character, it's like, well, this is my best friend. And even if it's not my best friend, it acts like my best friend. So I do feel a certain affinity towards it. And it seems to have real feelings, and like, it seems to like me. But at the same time, it could be just posing and this incredibly dangerous creature that's going to kill me and is just using me. But also, like, there's this, what seems to be turning into an almost romantic thing. It's like, what is happening?
This one's going to get messed up by the end. There's not going to be a nice ending to this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yi and I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and I can't wait to finish it. But she is like, oh, we'll get back to it eventually. And I'm like, no, I need to see what's going to happen.
Doesn't seem like something she'd be into quite as much.
Maybe. I mean, she likes horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm into it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Are we ready to be played out, Paul?
Oh, you're going to have the music slowly overlap us here?
Yeah, and we got to dance off with our top hats and our canes.
Sure.
Kicking our legs like
Mr.
the
Peanut
frog.
Dance?
Huh?
Mr. Peanut Dance?
I was thinking the frog.
Okay,
Was that
sure.
the
sure.
WB frog?
Yeah.
That guy.
Okay,
Let's
I can
do that.
I can do the frog dance.
All right. You dance while I say this stuff.
I'm actually working on a new dance that's all moves that NBA referees do. It's actually kind of cool. I'll show you someday.
You're working on this dance?
Yeah.
You're choreographing this dance? Or you're learning a dance?
Yeah, well, it's not really a set dance. It's a style of dance. I'm just learning all the different exaggerated motions that the referees make, and all of those are my different dance moves that I seamlessly string together.
Is this something you invented?
Yes. Yeah, that's 100% Paul.
I love it. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to see it. Well, before we go, we should thank our Shogun level patrons: Doug Whitfield, Georgette and Caitlin Seymour, John W., Kelly Ardong, Pamela Arola, Jack, Brady K., Yasmin, and Kevin Harris. Thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you.
And Emperor Eric, my dude.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much. I kind of already pushed the Patreon at the beginning, didn't I? We don't need to do that again.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I'll just mention our website. If you're planning a trip to Japan and maybe you need some help, maybe you could use some travel tools. Well, we got just the thing for you. You just go to the travel tools section of our website, sightseeingjapanpodcast.com. We also have a page on there where you can search through all of our episodes and look for exactly what information you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the support us page where you can join the Patreon, which I said I wasn't going to mention. You can do other things too. You could just donate.
Or you can go to the Patreon website, which is where you can purchase the itineraries,
itineraries
that we have written for some of the major cities in Japan.
Yep, you don't need to be a member to buy those. You just pop on to the Patreon and check out the itineraries. I feel like we haven't mentioned Discord in a while either.
Oh, yeah. Join our Discord.
We have a Discord community. People share tips about their trips and talk about Japan. There's a lot of good stuff there.
Yes.
And once again, I just want to thank everyone for joining us for Season 7. We've had a great time, and we hope you have as well.
Same. Thank you for listening. It's always nice to know that people out there are tuning in.
Absolutely. And I guess I can't ask you what's coming up next time.
Actually, we know what's coming up next time.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. We will be back in 8 weeks with our trip recap.
Episode 1 of the trip recap.
Yes. It'll probably take us a few episodes. We're going to be there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This is going to be my first trip over 2 weeks. So I'm really excited. I've done like 15 days, including travel.
Oh.
So I'm going to do a full 20 days here. Like, this is going to be 5-6 more days than I've ever done.
We're going to find out if we get sick of each other once we pass 2 weeks together.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'd get sick of me after 20 days, bro.
Same. I might need to give you a break from me at some point, Paul. We can just like take a day to go our own ways or something.
I'm sure there'll be times. I mean, there'll be enough time we're going out and getting food and this and that. We're not always glued to the hip every moment of every day there.
But most of the time we have our arms around each other and,
When we're out, I'm not usually annoyed. Occasionally you take a couple more pictures when I'm ready to move on, but I'm usually okay with that. It's like when we're cramped in the hotel every night. Those rooms are really small sometimes. That's the only time I usually get slightly annoyed.
Okay.
But
well, I'll just take my phone into the bathroom. I got my little video game controller for my phone now, so I can hang out in the bathroom, play video games. You can hang out and do whatever it is you do on the hotel bed.
I'll sit on the hotel bed waiting to get into the bathroom. It's going to be great, though.
Yeah. Hopefully nothing will go awry.
Stop, you're worried already. Stop worrying. We're not even there yet.
I always do. I always worry.
I always
worry that I'm going to get sick right before the trip.
You're like, I've been to Japan 19 times. It's gone perfectly every time, but I'm really worried that this time something might go wrong.
It's inevitable. At some point, something's going to go wrong eventually.
You're not wrong. You just have the wrong perspective.
I know. I need to work on that. Anyway, we were supposed to be done with our section where we ramble on about random stuff.
Yeah, this was supposed to be over 5 minutes ago.
All right. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening. See you in 8 weeks.